All right, everybody, welcome back to yet again another season preview. We move on with yet again another Atlantic Division team, and this could be the most hyped up team for the upcoming season. We have the Ottawa Senators season preview today. So obviously, Ottawa had probably one of the most eventful off seasons and are one of the most talked about teams heading into 2022-2023. But first off, let's take a look at 2021-2022. They went 33-42-7 for 73 points. They scored 227 goals and only let in 266, and they obviously missed the playoffs. The leading scorer was Brady Tkachuk with 30 goals, 37 assists for 67 points. And then your goaltender in net was Anton Forsberg, a name we don't see all too often, with a 22-17-4 record with a 2.82 goals against average. Actually, I said last year that this team was going to take a step up and they were going to be better and they would definitely push for the playoffs. Yeah, 26th in the NHL is not better. Definitely not. But I will say this, though. Their offseason was significantly better than their regular season. I will say that. Their acquisitions, or actually, no, sorry. We start off with the departures first. I'm so excited to get into this. Matt Murray, Josh Brown, Chris Tierney, Adam Gaudette, and Tyler Ennis. Players who really were honestly kind of liabilities. I mean, none of these players were really all too good. Murray showed some sparks of being good, and obviously now he's with Toronto as a starting goaltender. We'll see how that goes. If you guys watched my Toronto preview, you would know what my opinion was on that. But overall, I mean, these aren't eye-openers. I think there's some good departures, players who really weren't going to fit the time frame or really or didn't play all too well with the Senators, so it all makes sense. Or actually, no, not Josh Brown. I just realized Connor Brown. My bad. Well, actually, no, yes. Both, actually, no. I'm losing my mind. I think it's Connor Brown. Connor Brown got traded to the Capitals. I'm thinking of Josh Brown, but no, he got dealt to the Bruins prior to going to the Coyotes. But anyways, that's my fault. It's Connor Brown. And I mean, Brown is a significant loss, but they were trying to trade him for a while, so it does make sense. And on a team that had 3 Browns heading into the 2021 season, now has 0 Browns heading into the 22-23 season, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You look at their acquisitions, they definitely make up for the departures. Alex DeBrincat, Claude Giroux, Cam Talbot, and I think that is Jacob Larson. Yes, Jacob Larson, if I'm correct. I had to take a look at my note sheet there really quick. But obviously, some good acquisitions, definitely. You get some really good top six upgrades with DeBrincat and Giroux. Really boost that top 6 to arguably one of the best in the NHL, if we're being honest at this point. They get a solid goaltender in Cam Talbot, who could be facing maybe the starter, maybe the backup role. Who knows what's coming for Talbot there, obviously, but I would imagine he probably starts off as a starting goaltender and then Forsberg takes the role as the backup, but that's what it's looking like right now. Not bad acquisition either. I think Talbot was a very underrated goaltender for the Minnesota Wild this past year, and since obviously Fleury's in town, Talbot wanted to be a starter and this and that, and obviously everything fell through. And then obviously Jacob Larson, more or less just a depth defender. I don't even think I have him on my depth chart. Excuse me if I'm being honest. I don't see him on here. So it is what it is. Anyways, looking at your top 6 here for Ottawa, and as I said, it's one of the best in the NHL in my opinion. Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, Drake Batherson, Alex DeBrincat, Tim Stützle, and Claude Giroux. So obviously there you have some pretty good forwards to round out that top 6. Very, very good. Very powerful. Norris obviously had a very underrated season last year. Tkachuk, very underrated captain. Drake Batherson as well. Very solid first line. And then that second line, too. You have a 40 goal scorer on the second line. Unbelievable. Then you have Tim Stützle as well. And then you have Claude Giroux also. And I think, and honestly, coming from a Philadelphia Flyers fan who has seen Giroux play his entire life, I honestly think that, Giroux playing that second line center role, really kind of the first power play guy, I think is probably where he probably belongs. And I'm not criticizing Giroux's captaincy at all in Philadelphia. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I think it is a much better place for Claude Giroux than it was being the captain and being so relied on in Philadelphia. Now he's taking kind of a little bit of a minor role, and I think that is good for him. You look at your bottom 6 there. You have Alex Formanton, it's Shane Pinto. I'm losing my mind. Shane Pinto, Matthew Joseph, Parker Kelly, Dylan Gambrell, and Austin Watson. Then you have Marco Kastelik, Ridley Gregg, or Mark Castelli, not Marco Castelli. Ridley Gregg and Igor Sokolov. So you'll see some players there get some time. Ridley Gregg's one of them. Gregg looked very good in the Canadian Hockey League this past season, so obviously he's probably going to, suddenly, and I'm going to say this, I forgot to point this out, suddenly they're really deep down the middle. Like, you look at their center core, Norris, Stutzel, Pinto, Gregg, and then Giroux can play center as well, and then they have Gambrell. So, they are pretty deep down the middle, so it is going to be a big competition to see who's going to get a spot. But obviously there, I think Ridley Gregg probably maybe plays third line, but they're really deep down the middle. So maybe something happens. I'm not entirely too sure. They are extremely deep. They may face a problem down the road like we're seeing with the Rangers, where Kravtsov wanted his way out, and now Lundqvist wants his way out. So it more or less, it's mainly because those players leaving. It's obviously because of just a logjam on either the center core or the defense or anything like that. That's the main reason why players want to leave. So maybe we see something happen like that if, let's say, Gregg plays really well and pushes Pinto down to the fourth line, and Pinto's like, hey, I don't like being on the fourth line. Maybe request to trade out. We've seen it before. It could happen, but that's just me speculating. But obviously they're very solid bottom six. We'll see some younger guys get a chance to play up on that roster. You look at their defense there. You have Thomas Chabot and Artem Zub as your first pairing. Then you have Jake Sanderson and Nikita Zaitsev as your second pairing. Then you have Nick Holden and Eric Branstrom as your third. And then you have Travis Hamonic and obviously guys like Jacob Larson, Bernard Docker, and Lassie Thompson as some additional forwards there, or defenders there as well. So I like the defense overall. Chabot's obviously going to play 26 minutes again because that's what he does. Zub, very underrated defensive defenseman. I think this defense is significantly stronger. Obviously, with the Jake Sanderson coming into the lineup and Brandstrom being re-signed this past week, I think obviously Ottawa's defense is looking very good for itself. So we'll see what it can do. Definitely. And then you look at your goaltending team, you have Cam Talbot and Anton Forsberg. Then you have Magnus Sogard as an additional goaltender. And Matt Sogard, not Magnus Sogard, I'm thinking of Magnus Hellberg. I don't know why. But Matt Sogard has looked solid in some of the games that he's played, so I imagine he maybe gets a chance at playing for maybe the backup role. But we'll see. But I've obviously been very high on third-string goaltenders. None of them really panning out the way that I say they're going to. Anyways, moving on to your biggest questions here. The biggest one is, will this team take the next step? Now, we talked about Pierre Dorion saying last season that the rebuild was over. Well, it obviously wasn't because they placed 26th. Is it over now? That is really the question for Ottawa. And I think if it isn't over, it's definitely on its last year, 100%. This team has kind of been upgrading the past couple of years. They become really good offensively, defensively. They look solid. So we'll see. This is the team that, although they had some really big acquisitions, they could be a team that either disappoints or surprises. So we'll see. And the other question is, will the young guys perform? Obviously, you got players like Shane Pinto, Ridley Gregg, Igor Sokolov, Jake Sanderson, Eric Branstrom. Some of those players have been in the lineup for a while now. But obviously, those players are going to get solidified roles with the team. Are they going to pan out the way we think they're going to? I think for most of them, most likely. Some may more than others. But I think this is a very capable young group of a Senators team, and I think they definitely will do well. You look at their Plano Meter, and it's by the Hockey News. I know I have to say this in every single video, and the glare is bad in every single video. You have Tim Stutzel leading the way with 76 points. Then you have a three-way tie for second with Alex DeBrincat, Brady Tkachuk, and Drake Batherson with 70. Then you have Josh Norris in fifth there with 65. So obviously there, Giroux has 62 points. He didn't make the top five, unfortunately. But obviously, very powerful team there. I think they probably wind up around 70 points. The Brincat may get more, depending on how much goals he scores. And a funny memory just popped into my mind. I remember that one game where the Brincat scored 4 goals, and it was like that 8-6 loss for Chicago against the Senators. I don't know if people remember that, but that was way back in 2018-19. I don't know why that random memory just came into my mind. But anyways, moving on here to your sleeper or your bust, it is actually Shane Pinto. A shoulder injury wiped out Shane Pinto's rookie campaign, so there's potential waiting to be unlocked. Here, he's a competitive center who can't fit up and down a lineup. Who can fit up and down the lineup, Pinto isn't on many draft lists, but could emerge as a force early on. And I think Pinto could be the wild card player there that could show some potential for the Senators. And obviously that question goes back to them being really deep down the middle. Where's Pinto going to be placed? I have him in third line center, but if Ridley Gregg does well, I'm not sure. I mean, we'll see. But obviously, Pinto will get the chance to play his first solidified full season because, of course, he barely played in 2021, 2022. So we'll see what Pinto can do. And obviously, I will go more in depth with that once we take a look at our Calder video, which is coming up very soon. Their cup odds are 36-1, which is no surprise. I don't think the Senators are really going to be contending for a cup championship this year, and I think that's without a question. I mean, they possibly could be in the future, but I think for right now, this team needs to get some experience under their belt 100%. Look at their brass here. Melnick's death left the team with the hands of his daughters, Olivia and Anna. With the Board of Trustees handling day-to-day operations, speculation abounds the potential sale of part of their franchise, perhaps tied to construction of the downtown arena. So, I mean, obviously, I don't talk about all too much in here about, I mean, rest in peace, Melnick. But I'm not talking about, like, all these ownership things. I don't typically talk about that on the channel. I may bring that into fruition come this season, but obviously I haven't really touched base with that. But I mean, I have heard that there's a brand new arena coming. I think I made a YouTube video on it when it was officially announced. But it definitely is more convenient to have it more downtown. Much better for Ottawa Senators fans. But anyways, now the question is, do they make the playoffs? And I know a lot of people are saying yes, but some are saying no, and I'm in the middle. In 2021, I said no. In 2022, I said maybe. I'm going for maybe again. I think that this team, they're much better than last year, 100%, and they definitely won't finish 26th this coming season. They'll likely finish around maybe 20th to 16th, but I mean, maybe even higher. Who knows? But I don't like speculating that type of stuff. But I mean, Ottawa is a difficult team because you look at that Atlantic Division. And I've said it for almost all the teams, it's competitive. It really is. Almost all of those teams are good. And if they're not good, they're heading in the right direction. The only team that I think is like a lock to miss the playoffs is Montreal and honestly probably Buffalo, although they have a lot of young guys coming up. We'll get to them when we do their preview, though. But it is coming, by the way. So, I mean, like, I want to say yes, but I'm just going to say maybe for now. Because I think Ottawa is one of those teams that where, like, let's say a team like Boston falls off. And Boston very well could because they're missing McAvoy and Marchand. They're missing some players on that roster probably until mid-January. So we'll see how Boston does. But if Boston's one of those teams that definitely falls off and leaves a spot open, I think it's either Ottawa or Detroit that would take that spot 100%. And I think I said the same thing with Detroit. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at maybe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. A bit of a longer one, but I'm very hyped to see what the Ottawa Senators are going to do this coming season. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. For all your supporters later, really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below if you are new. And anyways, we are about 30 subscribers away from 2,000, so we're going to try and grind our way there before the end of 2022. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.